You're going to have many deaths in this lifetime. You're going to die a lot. And I'm speaking in a spiritual sense. On this journey of healing and discovering who you really are, you're going to have to die, which means release, let go, shed, literally just discard of anything that does not serve you, any identity that no longer fits, any belief, any pattern that just doesn't fit, any behavior that just doesn't serve you anymore. And, we go through phases of this throughout our entire lives. We're constantly discovering new parts of ourselves and discovering new versions of who we are and discovering what we desire, what we value. And that changes throughout our life. And so we are just a constant evolution, constant soul evolution. And that requires death and putting to rest things that aren't you anymore, that aren't you. And so the concept of ego death is literally letting go of everything you once knew, saying ta-ta, farewell, literally dying and coming back to life, rebirthing as someone, something new. So when you're born into a family, you receive the labels, the beliefs, the conditioning, the behaviors, the thought patterns of that family, of your culture, of your society, right? That's put on you, whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not, whether your family is healthy or dysfunctional, doesn't matter. You're getting what your family gives you. And you grow up with these beliefs. You latch on to certain memories. You latch on to certain experiences and make them mean something in your brain, in your mind. And that shapes your self-perception. That shapes how you show up in the world. And that shapes how you experience reality. Now, the lucky few of us who are on this journey of soul expansion, spiritual growth, healing, deep fucking healing, we wake up. We wake up from this facade that was given to us. And we realize that's not actually who we are. It doesn't fit. It doesn't feel good. It does not feel good. These behaviors, patterns, self-perceptions, identities, and they don't resonate. And being on this journey, you're literally forced. You have free will. You have free will. If you don't want to, partake in this healing journey, life just might get more challenging for you because you're awake and resistant to moving forward. And so that's going to cause a lot of stagnancy, a lot of frustration, to the point where you will willingly move forward and release and shed and do the healing work because where you are will become so uncomfortable that the universe, God, spirit, whatever you call it, it's literally going to force you. It's going to push you. So, but you can avoid it as long as you want. You have free will. But eventually, you're gonna go on that path of healing and shedding all of those labels, all of those identities, those beliefs, those self-perceptions. And so much of that we pick up on is rooted in unworthiness, unlovingness, not enoughness, scarcity, fear, anxiety, stress. This is so much of what our programming it consists of. And I know for me, I grew with this perception, the self-identity, that I'm not worthy of love or friendship or, really a really great partner. I'm not worthy of feeling confident. I'm not worthy of being so intelligent. I'm not intelligent. I can't be intelligent. That's just not me. That's not what I grew up believing, that I'm intelligent and I'm capable. And I'm amazing. I didn't get that reinforcement in my childhood, that I'm amazing and I'm loved and I'm supported and I'm protected. I wasn't encouraged to follow my creativity and my curiosity. I was taught to shut off, shut down, shut up, be quiet. Nobody cares about you, right? And then all of those labels and thoughts and beliefs about yourself and about the world, you just live life on that programming. And so when you go out with your friends or in jobs or in relationships, you will continue to experience those same beliefs, those same thoughts, those same perceptions that root back to, I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, I'm not smart, blah, 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 blah. And so waking up from all of this, we have our spiritual awakening where we awaken and we realize, holy shit, I'm the creator of my reality. I am the one who decides how I want to live my life. And I am fucking traumatized. Who knew? I held so much trauma that I didn't even know. I just repressed, because that's what the body does. That's what the mind does. It represses pain, because the body's mechanism is to protect you. The mind's mechanism is to protect you. And it's a really painful experiences, very traumatic experiences. It shuts off. It goes repressed. Especially when you don't have the surroundings or the capability to work through trauma, work through pain, work through heartbreak, especially as kids. And then you grow up with those same limitations and those same, feelings, those same wounds. You hold them forever until you go back and you heal them, which this journey will make you do. This journey of dying. But this ego death, so we have these labels placed on us, right? They're not ours. They're just given to us. And at some point they don't fit, right? Like I mentioned. And so an ego death and dying is letting it go. For me personally, those beliefs of I'm unworthy, I'm not smart, I should be quiet, nobody cares about me, blah, blah, blah. That was my identity at one point. But it did not, those beliefs and perceptions, that self-perception, that self-identity that was created by the external world, that felt so frustrating after a certain point when I woke up and I had this higher knowing that, that's not me. And I needed to kill it. I'm kidding. We shed it with love, but we have to let it die. We have to let that part of ourselves die, and we're constantly going to die, spiritually speaking, identity speaking. You're never the same person. Even from like a week ago, you're likely not the same person. If you are on this journey of growth. Some people can stay the same their whole lives and be content, because they're just unaware that, they hold so much fucking power. We all hold so much power, and it's so insane. And I mean, that's like a whole other video of how our power has just been dismantled and shut down, suppressed for like generations, centuries, whatever. But yeah, we are like, as a collective, we're coming back to that awareness that we are fucking powerful. And we got to shed the shit that doesn't serve. And so you are going to die a lot. And, that journey consists of being lost. Because when you're just given these labels, right? Imagine you come to Earth, you're given all of these limitations, these negative self-thoughts and self-patterns, whatever, given to you. When you let go of that identity or that piece of paper, of course you're going to be lost. Of course you're going to be like, what the fuck? Who am I now? What am I supposed to be doing? Who am I? What do I value? Like, what do I want for myself? Like, of course it's going to be so discombobulating. And so there's so much purpose in the lostness of this journey. You're supposed to be lost. Which, obviously doesn't feel good in the moment, especially in the beginning when this is like your first ego death, your first dark night of the soul. You're going deep into your internal world. You just feel lost, unmotivated, frustrated, stuck, moody, low energy, and you're just like, what is happening? That's all for purpose. That's actually meant to happen. So if you are experiencing that or have experienced that and thought, something's wrong with me, you're wrong. You're wrong. That's actually what's meant to happen. It's a part of the plan. It's a part of the plan, the cosmic plan. Because how are you to find yourself again if you're not lost? You need to be lost. And I say this now because I am not in that space right now, but it is a beautiful time to be lost. Obviously, in retrospect, because like I said, in the moment, it doesn't feel good. But learning to just, flow with the lostness, flow with the unknown, not needing to know the answers. And our ego, our mind, it needs answers. It needs control, because control equals safety. And the mind and the body, the whole role of it is to protect you, to keep you safe. And so the unknown equals danger, which is untrue. That's not always the case. And we just have to, continue to train and reprogram those feelings that we associate with lostness. We typically associate lost with anxiety and stress, confusion, overwhelm, which is natural, so natural, because you're human. Because you're human, right? However, you have the power to shift that. So when you are feeling lost, you can begin to neutralize, the negative feelings. And then you can even begin incorporating more feelings of, curiosity or excitement, possibility of what could happen in the unknown, associating it with something different, focusing on a different feeling. And that obviously takes consistency and practice, daily consistency and practice to shift that. So then when you do experience another ego death, another period of being lost, you'll come at it differently. You'll feel differently about it. You'll have a deeper sense of trust and knowing that everything is going to work out. Everything always works out. Literally, everything always works out. Always. Even myself, that's an area of, growth for me where I need to deepen in my trust. I've come a long way, but there's still more to go. But I have so many examples of when things just worked out when I never thought they would. And so when you go into those seasons of doubt, doubting trust, reflect back to those many experiences. And maybe you can't really think of any right now, and that's okay. But that can help, really trying to think back to a time when, you thought all was lost, or you thought, you were going to die or whatever. But then things actually ended up working out in your favor. So God, source, spirit, universe, it's always guiding you to your best outcome. And trust is a huge part that we must develop, that trust. A huge part of this journey is developing trust in the unknown, in the lostness, because death is inevitable. Spiritual death is inevitable. Obviously physical death too. We're all gonna die someday. But if you're dedicated to this journey of growth and coming back to you, who you are, and claiming, safety and happiness and joy and fulfillment and all of the good things, that's going to require you to constantly die and develop and grow. If you've made it this far in this video, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you being here. And just know that if you're feeling lost, it's on purpose. You're meant to be lost right now. Enjoy it. You don't have to know everything. You do not have to know anything. If you keep showing up, keep devoting yourself to you and the universe, God, spirit, and your journey, You're going to be provided for, and you're going to be held and nurtured and loved so deeply. So keep up the strength, and I'm sending you so much love and light.